So, what's up, my gamers in Christ? How are we doing today? Today is the date of. I actually am not sure. It's January 27th. Excuse me. Of 2026. How are we doing today, guys? Hopefully we're doing well. I meant to stream a little earlier, but unfortunately, the gods of sleep did not allow it. Anyways, how are we doing today, guys? I hope we're doing well. We've got quite the show for you today. Quite the show for you. We're going to be talking about, obviously we'll go over the PBS NewsHour, but we got a couple other things. Sorry, I'm still kind of waking up, so. But after the NewsHour, we've got some news from Brian Tyler Cohen about some bad news for Bovino. Bad news for Bovino, which we found out yesterday on stream is being demoted, I believe is what they called it. Basically getting fired. After that, we got a video by Benny Johnson. And then I still need some more content to actually watch to it, or react to it. I think maybe
CNN polls prove America.
this Asmongold poll could, or Asmongold poll, Asmongold video. That looks like it'll be fun. Anyways, that's about all I got for you guys today. Unfortunately, it's going to be a little bit of a shorter episode because I do have to go to work. Unfortunately. But that's all right. I'm getting some messages here. I did order some DoorDash for my energy drinks, so I'll definitely be getting up to get that here in a sec. Let me share my link, by the way. This music goes hard. I'm sorry. I don't care who you are. This is some dope music. Anyways, if you guys want a bit of a longer episode where I have call-ins, go check out my stream from yesterday. We had a bunch of people, we had 2 people call in, and then we had the homie and the homie Ice Beans and the home dog Bill. So you guys should go check that out. No way, no, I saved. Oh, it was a quick save, okay. I was about to say, I saved. Let me activate my trap card here and show you guys the Morrowind gameplay. We'll get started here in about 5 minutes on the news. I'll let people file in. Anyways, I think I did pretty well on the debate yesterday as well. I don't mean to toot my own horn, but I thought I did pretty well. Alright, let me let the Discordians know. Everyone. Live. How are the, okay, this, we have to find a cure to this. Hey. Hello?
Yes, hi, this is Shruti and I'm calling you from the Subsidy Funds Department. So how are you doing today?
Well, I'll be honest, I'm doing absolutely horrible. I woke up from a really bad nightmare I was having, and then. Oh, they didn't want to hear about my nightmare. Hey, are you here to talk about my nightmare I just had? No? Okay. How do I get 2 phone calls in a row? I mean, that is just ridiculous, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sorry. The streamers, you gotta realize, or the scammers gotta realize, like, they gotta work out a schedule for me or something, dude, because I am not. I can't stand this. It's gonna absolutely eat my brain alive. Me and Ice Beans had an interesting conversation the other day off of stream, and it was with my homie Conduit as well. It was about the idea of just a leftist and rightoids. Who should we focus on and stuff. I personally focus on the rightoids because they're the ones in power. And also, I think the Democratic Party kicks ass. So. We'll get started here in about 2 minutes, guys. One moment. Here we go. We're in Morrowind now. Look at this little script, by the way. God, these things are adorable. Can you get a pet one? Look at this little guy. He is so fucking cute, or freaking cute. Dang it. I gotta stop cursing in the first 15 minutes, or else it gets me. I don't know if that's still a rule, but it feels like it makes me not as in the algorithm, which is okay too. I know today's gonna be a little bit of a shorter vibe, so. Do I have all the... Okay, we needed Burglar's Bane, Phazia. We got the Violet Corpinus and the Luminous Rizula. Luminous Rizula. Sounds good. But I think we got all the mushrooms that we need to give to the Mages Guild lady. So we're gonna do that. Alright, I can't fight that guy right now. I'm way too weak. Way too spindly. Unfortunately. Actually, we need to go this way anyways, so we don't even need to fight him. Anyways, I do also have to announce that the next community day will be drawing a good amount of people. And next time I have, like, it's a longer stream, not a community day, but a longer stream, we'll make sure to draw the people from not from yesterday, but just, we'll make up for the amount of people we weren't able to draw yesterday, because I was just kind of tired. Dude, these slugs can just get, these Quamas just get absolutely wrecked, dude. kind of sounds like a slur. I don't know if I want to call them that. Kwama? I need to go back to Balmora. But that'll take some time, so we will get our show started before then. Let me turn on the browser box. And we will get started. That's not the image I needed to turn off. It's this one. There we go. It's PBS NewsHour, ladies and gentlemen. Get excited, get hyped. We love public broadcasting out here. Now let me turn my music off and we'll get this shindig underway. Hold on, I gotta get my chat up. Everything's good to go. Looking beautiful. Actually, hold on. Sorry, guys. I'm sorry, okay? Don't yell at me. I think that's incredibly rude that you wanted to yell at me. I mean, come on. I don't think I did that much bad. Anyways, PBS NewsHour. Let's get started.
Good evening. I'm Amna Nawaz.
And I'm
Let's
Jeff
go!
Bennett on the NewsHour tonight.
Let's go! These are the absolute Chads and Stacys right here.
President Trump sends his border czar to Minnesota after the killing of a man protesting immigration raids further inflames tensions in the state and across the country.
Border Patrol is clearly the wrong tool to be leading this effort, to be working in an urban environment.
The situation in Minnesota threatens a Homeland Security funding bill in Congress, increasing the chances of another government shutdown.
Let's go.
And hundreds of thousands of people.
Yeah, they need to shut this shit down, bro. I'm sorry. Like, you guys, I know some people weren't as thrilled for shutting the government down for the ACA subsidies. No, we have to do this for our fellow Americans. Sorry. If a fellow American gets shot in the streets by a government agent, I would expect it to shut down. You know? I would expect that. And this is a righteous reason to shut the government down, in my opinion. You are not, I don't see how anyone could see the Democrats as being in the wrong for this. You know, ICE needs reform. It does. There's no way the agency can exist like it does right now. Now, obviously, I don't think we should get rid of all of the ICE agents, but, well, I think we need to fire a good majority of them, just because there's too many, but we don't need to get rid of it, but that's actually something else I had a little debate with someone on. You know, everybody hails the defund the police as if it was this horrible misstep, as if it was just absolutely the worst thing that's ever happened to the Democratic Party. But we also got concessions. Like, you guys kind of or not you guys, but people forget, we did get concessions out of that. You know, the amount of people that have died due to police shootings had went down before Trump was in office. Now, I don't know. I doubt any of the old policy is still to remain, but we did get concessions out of that. Anyways.
People are without power as most of the country deals with the aftermath of the massive winter storm.
And to be quite honest, the abolish ICE stuff, I don't agree. I don't think we should abolish them, but I don't think they're going to get the same amount of pushback as they did with the defund the police. Obviously, we need police. Does a government agency need to handle deportations though? Why can't the local agency handle that? I don't understand. Some people will say it's not on the radar of the local PD, and I think that's the only point that I can really see, because everything else, I mean, they're going to be closer to the community, so they'll know, you know, if somebody's new or not. There's going to be a lot more accountability, because the community will hold a police officer accountable if they've done something unjustifiable. I mean, honestly, what is the need for ICE? I genuinely wonder. Like, I'm for what they did under Biden, but I'm really just thinking, like, why do we... Like, it's the justification for the agency really does. Holy shit! Do you have anything to say about Joe Biden's fucking border policy? No! Oh, what a big shock! I didn't think they did either. Anyways.
Funding for the PBS NewsHour has been provided by...
On an American Cruise Line's journey, travelers can experience the coastal
By the way, if you guys are enjoying the stream, please remember to like and
heritage of the Southeast U.S. and the Gulf Coast. Aboard our fleet of small cruise ships,
and if you disagree, feel free to join my Discord. I would love to have a good faith conversation at some point with anybody. I am always free to talk, ladies and gentlemen. And oh, here we go. Yes, here we go. Patriot American, or Patriot whatever the fuck, says retard liberals are hurting America. No one likes my stream? What are you talking about? Everyone likes my stream. Everyone does. They actually polled Americans recently, and they said my stream was even better than whatever Charlie Kirk was putting on. They are calling me the next Charlie Kirk.
Explore the historic towns like Charleston and Key West, while experiencing the local customs and cuisine that define the Southeast Coast. American Cruise Lines, proud sponsor of PBS NewsHour.
The ongoing support of these individuals and institutions, and friends of the NewsHour, including Leonard and Norma Chlorfine, and the Judy and Peter Bloom Kovler Foundation.
Disagree?
And with the ongoing support of these individuals and institutions.
Alright, just had to put that message. If any of these, if any of you MAGA want to come yell at me and can actually prove that I'm wrong instead of just doing things based off of vibes, please feel free to join my Discord, go into the waiting room, let me know that you're there and chat, and we can get a good thing going. You know, a lot of so far MAGA has come in guns a blazing, and then they realize that I'm not their exact perfect picture of a lefty, and they end up agreeing with me on a lot of things.
This program was made possible by the contributions to your PBS station from viewers like you.
By the way, go donate to PBS if you guys feel like giving to a charitable cause. I think PBS is a extremely vital news source. Holy shit. That is 4 phone calls in the past 30 minutes. Hello? Hey. Hey. If you call my phone one more time, I am going to absolutely soy out on you. Anyways, guys.
Welcome to the NewsHour. President Trump sent his border czar to Minneapolis today and shifted his response a bit following bipartisan backlash to the fatal shooting of a second U.S. citizen by federal agents this weekend.
The tides are changing. I'm actually glad to see the president acting like a president for once in his fucking life. I praised him when he sat down with Mamdani. I'll praise him here. It seems like he actually put in an effort to de-escalate the situation. I think it's because, you know, we all know what we saw, you know what I mean? And at the end of the day, I think Trump knows what he saw fucking too. And so it's hard to watch that video and say that man deserved that, you know? I swear to the gods above, if this skyhopper kills me. I call them skyhoppers. They're cliff racers.
President and Minnesota Governor Tim Walz signaled some progress in the Twin Cities. Border Patrol senior official Greg Bovino and some agents are now reportedly leaving the state. But anger over the conduct of ICE and the Border Patrol is high, and a federal judge is deciding whether the immigration crackdown can continue. Special correspondent Fred DeSam.
By the way, guys, if you really enjoyed this stream, I do have a dono link in my bio. Feel free to donate there. No pressure, though. No pressure. I don't have alerts set up, so yeah, it won't flash on the screen. But I will read your message, and it could be in a funny voice. I could do it in a silly voice. Think about that. I do, you know, I'm well known for my funny voices, so think about that. You get a funny voice.
Lazaro begins our coverage with the latest from Minneapolis.
On a frigid morning in South Minneapolis, another makeshift memorial grew larger today for another U.S. citizen killed at the hands of federal agents. For residents
damn, it is hard for me to talk about. I just see myself in Alex so much, you know.
Showing up to honor Alex Pretty, a mixture of sadness, anger, and exhaustion. Rose Zeeley lives just steps from the site of Saturday's shooting.
I was like really right there at the end of the corner, and I was walking towards this way, and I heard the gunshots, and I just started running. I just hope we can all get together and have an understanding and stop this. This is very terrifying, and it's not good. I pray every day for us all.
Emily and Brandon Del Bell drove in from neighboring St. Louis Park.
We woke up, we got our kiddo to school, and we were paralyzed. Don't know how to take the grief that we're dealing with right now.
I drove into work, got in there, and I realized I couldn't be there today. Yeah, nothing feels real, so I need to prove to my body that this is real. So I needed to come here, even though it's really hard.
But by
interesting. Did that guy know Alex, or was he just, I mean, it's obviously, you know, I feel similar. Okay.
Mid-morning came the first hint of some conciliation. President Trump, in a Truth Social post, wrote, "Governor Tim Walz called me with the request to work together with respect to Minnesota. It was a very good call, and we actually seem to be on a similar wavelength." The president also said,
"Oh, dude, I'm sorry, but this is capitulation from Trump. This is capitulation. When you've built your entire brand with not working together, and then you're like, oh, look at this, we work together. It's like, what did Tim show you, man? But I'm glad to hear, like, I'm not gonna frame it like capitulation. They saw each other eye to eye, you know. And I think that's healthy for America. I think it's so sad when we fight each other nonstop. Just doesn't get anything done.
Said he was sending border czar Tom Homan to Minnesota. In a statement shortly after, Governor Walz said he had a, quote, productive call with President Trump, writing, "The president agreed that he would talk to his Department of Homeland Security about ensuring the Minnesota Bureau of Criminal Apprehension is able to conduct an independent investigation." He also said the president agreed to look into reducing the number of federal agents in Minnesota and to coordinate with state officials. In an interview with Minnesota Public Radio this afternoon, Walz was asked about reports that Border Patrol Commander Greg Bovino would be leaving the state tomorrow.
That is really good news, and I will acknowledge it here. That is the president following through, apparently, with our conversation.
It comes after Pretty, a 37-year-old ICU nurse, was killed by ICE agents during a scuffle that was captured on video by bystanders. Department of Homeland Security officials were quick to say that Pretty had been, quote, brandishing a firearm.
This looks like a situation where an individual arrived at the scene to inflict maximum damage on individuals and to kill law enforcement.
Maximum damage. God, just
hours
listen.
after the killing,
listen to how these people talk about your fellow Americans, ladies and gentlemen. Jesus, dude. Stephen Miller, I don't even know what this ghoul is gonna say, but I can't imagine it's fucking good, you know? He's a real piece of shit, he really is. Alright, I think I saw the cliff racer in the distance, but I think it decided not to eat me, so I'm very thankful for that.
White House Deputy Chief of Staff Stephen Miller called
Holy
Pretty,
shit.
Quote,
holy shit. I have a certain set of skills that's all I know from the movie. Fuck, I hung up.
a would-be assassin in a social media post. But numerous bystander videos from the encounter paint a different picture. A frame-by-frame
anytime people like Stephen Miller, Kristi Noem, they say they care about America, and they care about Americans, but not a tear shed for an American that served his community. Not a fucking tear shed. Just truly disgusting stuff, in my opinion.
Analysis of the video by the New York Times and several other news organizations shows Pretty holding a phone, not a gun. And they show agents removing the gun from his hip 1 second before the first shots were fired.
You don't have to choose between your First and Second Amendment rights.
Rob Dorr is with the Minnesota Gun Owners Caucus, the state's largest Second Amendment advocacy group. He says there's no evidence Pretty was trying to shoot agents.
I'm just very disheartened by the inaccurate messaging that's being put out, and I think it's being done for two reasons. One, to give the public the impression that Mr. Preddy was in violation of the law, so therefore the use of force was justified against him, and to try to discourage people from exercising the rights that they're entitled to. You have a right to carry a firearm in Minnesota if you have a permit, which Mr. Preddy did. You have a right to carry openly or concealed. You have a right to carry backup magazines, and you have a right to carry at protests.
It's all sparked a political firestorm, with numerous Republican politicians criticizing the ongoing ICE and Border Patrol operation in Minnesota, now over a month.
All right. I knew the liberals would end up being the ones that actually defend people's rights to carry a firearm. I knew that the Republicans just didn't actually care about that. So I've been fighting for the Second Amendment. You guys know. I think your right to own a gun in America is valuable. I think it creates a society that, when not afflicted by other issues, is actually safer. However, when we have a huge mental health problem, it's probably not a good idea to give people guns. You know what I mean? When we have a huge mental health crisis that our government just refuses to actually combat, then we got to be a little more careful with who we give guns to. And ladies and gentlemen, that is the fault of the Republicans, because they don't want to actually take our healthcare seriously. They think we can just put a couple bucks in the health savings account and all our issues will be solved.
Told. In a social media post over the weekend, Louisiana Republican Senator Bill Cassidy described the shooting as, quote, disturbing, and called for a full joint federal and state investigation.
Thank you, Bill Cassidy. I never thought I would say that, but thank you. Thank you so much, dude. This is what we've been asking for Renee Good. Thank you, man. That's all we ask for. I don't ask, you know, I don't ask for the shooter to be fucking put in a prison cell and never see the sunlight again. I mean, if it's concluded in the investigation that that's the punishment he deserves, then yeah, go ahead. But all I want is a fair investigation from the state and federal investigators. But anyways, I guess that's too much. I guess that's causing a terrorism in some people's minds. By the way, if you guys are enjoying the stream, please remember to like and subscribe. We just hit 300, and I'm super proud of you guys for that. So continue on subbing and sharing the video. That helps too. But thank you guys. I really do mean it. It means a lot for me.
Meanwhile, Minnesota officials were in court on two fronts today. One case aims to preserve evidence in Alex Pretty's shooting after state investigators were shut out from examining the scene. The second lawsuit looks to end the so-called Operation Metro Surge altogether. Still, tensions remain high in the Twin Cities. One demonstration boiled over last night, with people vandalizing a hotel where they believed ICE agents were staying. The state.
That's not good. Hey, the hotel owners, they're just trying to make money, gang. I understand being mad at them. I do, but they're just trying to make the hotel workers, they have nothing to do with ICE. They're probably sweating them, you know, a good majority of them probably sweating themselves. So don't vandalize private businesses that have no association with ICE other than just providing a hotel and breakfast. You know what I mean? That is not something I support.
State's Department of Public Safety said officials were encircling the group for arrests when federal agents showed up unannounced and deployed chemical irritants. All this as friends and colleagues mourn and remember Alex Pretty. Dimitri Draconia is an infectious disease physician who worked with Pretty both in clinical and research settings.
He was just a really fun guy. Did his work hard, made sure that he was covering everything that he could do, and also trying to see what else he could do that would free up space for other people to do their jobs. He was just a helpful, friendly, engaging guy. So to hear him described as a domestic terrorist it boggles the mind, and it is contrary to everything that I've known for 8 years.
And while Pretty's final moments are splashed across the front pages, Dr. Draconia points to other photos as a truer reflection of who he was.
The image of him holding his mountain bike, the image of him smiling in his official portrait, you'll notice that every one of those images that is out there, he has a smile. And that is the person that he was. And that's how I hope people remember him.
For the PBS NewsHour, I'm Fred.
This case really does get me to a point. I mean, just heartbreaking.
San Lazaro in Minneapolis.
And we should note, we asked officials from Border Patrol, ICE, and the White House to join us for an interview, but they declined our requests. Meanwhile, the crackdown in Minnesota and the deadly shootings of 2 U.S. citizens are raising questions about the tactics used by federal immigration agents. To discuss that, I'm joined by former Customs and Border Protection Commissioner Gil Kurlikowski. He also served as the chief of local police departments in multiple cities. Gil, welcome back to the NewsHour. Thanks for being with us. So you've seen a number of videos circulating online, some even frame-by-frame analyses by different news outlets. I'm just curious, what stands out to you from what you've seen?
Well, the fact that they took him to the ground and he is resisting, but you would think that with the number of agents that they had, they would be able to get his hands behind his back and get him secured and get him handcuffed. And it reminded you of kind of a football scrum where they were all at different angles. So I didn't see them doing a particularly good job of securing him and getting him in custody.
Based on what you know about what happened before that interaction, what should have agents done in that case, in those circumstances?
Well, I think what they don't do and what they should be doing is that when they're confronted with somebody who is attempting to interfere or attempting to obstruct, they should tell that person, we're arrested.
Oh, sorry, guys. What's up? I'm back. Sorry about that. By the way, if you guys are enjoying the stream, please remember to like and subscribe. And if you're MAGA and you disagree with me, join my Discord. Let me know in the chat, and we can have a fun debate.
You. This use of chemical munitions, just bringing out pepper spray, etc., just makes little sense. Police officers deal with these things all the time, and they make a physical arrest. And that actually then deters some other people from getting involved or obstructing. But remember, this is a group of people, the Border Patrol in particular, who are completely untrained and unskilled for policing an urban environment.
I want to ask you a little bit more about that training, but can I just pick up on something you mentioned about attempting to interfere or attempting to obstruct, which is something we've heard from administration officials. When you see the videos, is that what you see Alex Pretty doing? Many people say they see him stepping in to help a woman who was knocked down. Is that interference to you?
I see him stepping in where the agent has already knocked this woman down, and I don't condone that. I mean, that is totally wrong. But as a person who's there to protest, observe, record, you want to not get involved. Even the guidelines, that protest groups give you say you should stay 5 or 6 or 7 feet away. Alex was in the heat of the moment, and he didn't do that, and I wish he had.
You mentioned the training that these federal agents have before they go. And I want to point out a slight distinction here. When we talked about the shooting and killing of Renee Good, that was by an...
Like, what is this? Like, this is fucking America, dude. We're gonna be protesting when we don't like something. Like, this is fucking Just like, where are the standards, you know? Where are the standards for these ICE agents? They're fucking, they don't exist, it feels like.
ICE agent. This was, looks like it was a Border Patrol agent in the shooting and killing of Alex Preddy. From what you know, are they trained to work in these kinds of environments? Crowd control, urban policing?
Not at all. Commander Bovino from the Border Patrol talked about how they have offices in some different cities, like Buffalo. I was the police commissioner in Buffalo for 5 years. I never saw a Border Patrol agent in the city. So,
oh, get fact checked, loser ass Bovino. Fucking L, dude. Bovino's taking massive L's. I would not be surprised if we find out that he became an alcoholic and got arrested here in about 5 years.
they don't have that kind of experience and background and training to work in an environment that can actually become a bit hostile. And city police officers know how to handle those things. It's very obvious that ICE and the Border Patrol do not.
The other thing we've heard from the administration officials is this idea that Alex Preddy was someone who was intent on harming federal agents. They say he approached officers with a gun, intended to massacre law enforcement. The DHS secretary said that officers were acting defensively in their actions. I know there's a lot of video we haven't seen yet, but have you seen any evidence of those claims in the videos that are circulating now?
I did not see any of that. And the only thing I did see in his hand was a cell phone.
So to follow on that, we know that there's body camera footage from the federal agents that investigators are looking into. Reportedly, there's also the phone that Alex Preddy himself seemed to be recording on. What do you think we can learn from those additional
you mean
camera
the
angles?
pistol that he was recording on, man? To be fair to Republicans, though, I haven't seen too many of them defending this action. Bro, this is... Lacon, Kansas. Fun fact, I dated a girl with this name of Lacon, Kansas. She's a model now. Hello? Thank you. You added a lot to the conversation. Jesus.
Well, body cameras have become very popular and for a number of years. And when I was at Customs and Border Protection, we experimented and the Border Patrol agents were keen to use them. The problem was at that time, the technology did not hold up well in the environment that they worked in. But they said, look, this body camera will protect me more. It will show that what I did is lawful and restrained. And now the administration doesn't want to use body cameras.
Can I ask big picture here? Because you mentioned these are not agents who are trained in the environment in which they're currently operating. 2 American citizens have now been killed by those federal agents in Minnesota. What do you think needs to happen so there's not a 3rd citizen killed?
Well, one, the Border Patrol is clearly the wrong tool to be leading this effort, to be working in an urban environment. And frankly, the ICE section, the removal section, ERO, they were pretty good at being able to target people who were dangerous, target people with final orders of deportation, and make those arrests. This walking through a Walmart and a Home Depot lot makes little sense. And all you've really done
dude,
is
this is what I've been saying. Like, this makes no sense. Earlier, I know I said earlier that, you know, local municipalities could take this over, but if we're gonna have ICE, why not? Let's just do what Biden was doing. You know? Let's not fucking wanton send some of the best parts of our America abroad. Like,
but you've also pretty much eroded the trust that law enforcement has gained in the last 5 years after the murder of George Floyd.
That is the former Customs and Border Protection Commissioner, Gil Kerlikowske, joining us tonight. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
A federal judge in Minnesota heard arguments today on whether to expel ICE agents from the state and put an end to the Trump administration's sweeping immigration enforcement. The hearing comes as state and the cities of Minneapolis and St. Paul officials warn that ICE's actions have pushed them into crisis. We're joined now by Mary McCord, Executive Director of the Institute for Constitutional Advocacy and Protection at Georgetown Law. Mary, thank you for being with us.
Sure, my pleasure.
At its heart, is this lawsuit, is this case really about immigration enforcement, or is it fundamentally about the balance of power between states and the federal government?
Well, the way that it's been pled by the state of Minnesota and the cities of Minneapolis and St. Paul, it does bring to issue this idea of federalism and principles of states' rights and the federal government's rights.
Hold on, guys.
They have a number of other
I'm
claims.
sorry, I
but
was just reading. I apologize. I was just reading the House of Troubles from Morrowind. And did you guys know that Molag Bal is the king of R-word? Like, what the hell? He's the king of R-word.
Key claims in their complaint and the key claims that were in their motion for a preliminary injunction that was heard by the court today is that what the government is doing here with this entire surge that in the way it's been implemented has violated the Constitution, the Fourth Amendment when it comes to some of the searches and seizures, the First Amendment when it comes to retaliation against protesters, racial profiling, aggressive conduct, all those things. They're saying that this infringes on their 10th Amendment rights because states are reserved the police power. And because of this surge and because of the pressure it's putting on the state and the cities and where it's occurring, that's impacting their ability to protect public safety, general health and welfare, all obligations of the state. And they also argue it violates the notion of equal sovereignty between the states because they argue that Minnesota is being targeted for political reasons, whereas other states that might even have more undocumented immigrants or the crisis of undocumented immigrants might be greater are not being targeted this way.
And if the judge were to grant Minnesota's request for a halt or some restriction on ICE's operations, what would that look like in a real way?
Well, that's a tough question to answer because the complaint asks for a lot of relief. At the heart, what Minnesota wants is for ICE to pull out of this surge, not necessarily every ICE agent to leave, but this surge to end. And, that's an extraordinary relief because, of course, the federal government argues that under principles of supremacy of federal law, a state can't, force them to stop enforcing federal law, and that a judge would not be able to do that either. So, it really does pit these interests, and that relief would be pretty extraordinary. There are lesser forms of relief, though, that the judge might be considering because she's taking this under advisement, which are things like enjoining, violations of Fourth Amendment by, not racially profiling when they engage in stops, enjoining them from going into sensitive locations like hospitals and schools and daycares, things like that. So there's a whole sort of variety of relief that she could grant if she agrees with the legal arguments that have been made.
And on the flip side, if the court sides with the Justice Department and the Trump administration, what precedent might that set for states that challenge federal immigration enforcement and surges like the ones we've seen in Minneapolis?
Yeah, this case has been different than so many of the other cases that have been brought in places like Portland and in Illinois, Chicago, when it comes to how ICE agents are actually performing their duties. A lot of those cases, like another case actually that's in Minnesota right now, the Tincher case, those have been brought on behalf of protesters or on behalf of people who have been stopped as suspected being here undocumented. And those are making very specific other types of claims. And this would have no impact on those lawsuits because the claims made by the state here are very different. These 10th Amendment claims, the other claims are much more personal to the individuals who have been subject to unconstitutional treatment. So I think that you would still see those types of lawsuits in Minnesota, like there is one ongoing, the Tincher case, or in other states, if we see the type of excessive force and overreach and unconstitutional practices that we are seeing by ICE in Minnesota, and that we saw in Portland, and that we saw in Chicago and in LA.
And Mary, based on the arguments that you've heard and the legal issues at stake, are there any clues about how this judge might frame her decision?
Yes, I was not able to listen to it today because I was working on other things, but I understand that she did ask, pointed questions along the nature of what we've been talking about how to balance the interest of the federal government and the supremacy clause and the interests of the states and the powers reserved to them under the 10th Amendment. And so she's going to think long and hard about, I think, the legal arguments here before she issues her ruling. And I don't really want to speculate about that because that wouldn't be fair to the parties.
Understood. Mary McWhorter, thanks to you as always. Let's look now at some of the political fallout from the immigration crackdown and fatal shooting in Minnesota.
At the White House today, Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt delivered a somewhat different message than administration officials did over the weekend.
Yesterday I was kind of shocked. Like they seem to feel like they fucked up. They seem to feel like they fucked up pretty bad. I don't know if that's like the right read. Maybe maybe you guys have a different read, but I feel like the Trump admin realizes, oh shit, we went too far. And now 2 American citizens are dead, and most of the country is looking at us as if we are complicit in it. That's what I think their feelings are right now. Again, I could be wrong, but
Landers was in the briefing room, and she joins us now from the White House. So, Liz, when it comes to the shooting and killing of Alex Preddy, what did we hear from the White House today?
Yeah, Amna, as you mentioned, a very different tone coming out of the White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt this afternoon when talking about the shooting that occurred over the weekend, especially when you compare that to what we heard from administration officials on Saturday and Sunday. The White House Press Secretary today calling Alex Preddy's death a tragedy, saying that President Trump never wants to see Americans
you got him
shot and killed in the streets. And when she was asked if the president thought that the shooting was a mistake, this is what she had to say.
Stupid.
Again, the president has said, we have to review it, and this investigation needs to continue, and he's letting the facts on the investigation lead itself.
Those investigations are being conducted right now by the FBI and by...
I really appreciate you, man. Like, you're always sending super useful links, and you're always able to help out. I appreciate that, man. I really do. I wish there was more I could do to show you my appreciation, but I'm not rich myself, so who knows, maybe at some point in the future when I've become this giant freaking epic political debater, we'll get Bill set up with a channel. Why am I just floating? I hate these freaking posts, dude. I do. I'm sorry. Those posts are so annoying. I get caught on them all the time. All right. We're picking flowers, by the way.
Homeland Security themselves. There's also an internal investigation that Customs and Border Patrol is also undertaking. And Amna, one of the main...
My comments haven't been updating. I'm so sorry about that, guys. Are my comments going through? Yes, they are now. You're nuts? Trump 2028. Dang it, I can't believe I missed that. I'm sorry, guys. I was using my browser chat rather than my OBS chat, so I missed some messages there. I'm sorry, guys. Solely for Hermitcraft. I love Hermitcraft. Hermitcraft is dope as hell.
sort of differences that we heard today from Levitt at the podium was specifically some of the comments that,
you know, I have some ideas for if I get big enough. I want to set up a Minecraft server. I love Minecraft, dude, so I would be so down to set up a Minecraft server. But anyways, reading my comments is good enough. Well, thank you. Well, who knows, someday you will be rich and famous. And that's just a prediction I'm putting out there into the world.
Kristi Noem and Deputy White House Chief of Staff Stephen Miller had made in the press and online.
That's so frustrating because the shorts, it's like you gotta respond to comments and stuff like that. The Onion on Petty. Let's look at this. Shout out to Bill. Bill was also one of the very first TGDEU characters. I'd levy to say that his TGDEU character may be one of the best. Trump alleges that Democrats secretly paid Alex Petty to be a model citizen. And you know what? God damn these Democrats, dude. I tell you what, if it's not this, they're turning our children trans. That's good. I think that's why the Petty case really does resonate with a lot of people. Because, I mean, this dude did everything right and still got shot.
Over the weekend, she was asked if the president thought that Petty had committed a domestic act of terrorism or that he was an assassin. Levitt said, I have not heard the president characterize Mr. Petty in that way.
Liz, we also heard the president announce he's going to send his border czar, Tom Homan, to Minneapolis, and that Homan's going to report directly to him. What do we know about what Homan will be doing on the ground there?
Right.
All right, so be honest. Do you guys want Bovino or do you want Homan? That's a difficult decision. I'd probably take Homan. You know what I mean? He doesn't have the haircut of every Karen in their mid-30s, so
Tom Homan, the border czar, is on his way this evening to Minneapolis, and
they really chose some bad ones. By the way, don't know how true it is, but I've heard you are supposed to turn stream off. On a lot of viewers, so the outcome songs may not be the best idea algorithmically. Oh, turn stream off on a lot of viewers. Okay, yeah. I had a feeling that's kind of something that helps out with the algorithm. But I do like to make it to where it's more of a good viewing experience for the VOD watchers, if there are. I know there are actually a couple VOD watchers out there, so. But I have heard that, and I've been trying to end it with a good amount of people in this stream. Yesterday was a great episode, honestly. I was very happy about yesterday's episode.
Heard from the president in just the last few moments that he has connected on the phone with the
We do need the gamer cred too.
Minneapolis
Amen.
mayor and with the governor of Minnesota, Tim Walz, talking about Homan's role on the ground there. White House Press Secretary Caroline Levitt said in today's briefing that he is there to coordinate with the state and local authorities to achieve this cooperation. And she said to subdue the chaos on the streets of Minneapolis. Governor Walz, though, was pretty pointed still this afternoon in a Wall Street Journal op-ed that he had, talking about the administration and saying that they are lying about Minnesota not coordinating with deporting some of these criminal illegal aliens who are here in the United States. He said, this assault on our communities is not necessary to enforce our immigration laws. We don't have to choose between open borders and whatever the hell this is. Mr. Trump can and must end this unlawful, violent, and chaotic campaign. You're seeing from Minnesota officials, the Department.
1,900. Oh, when it ended, and now it has 2,400. Yeah, we got some gamers out there. We got some gamers watching the VODs, which I really appreciate. We've met every other requirement to get monetized. Now we just need 500 subs. Yeah, 20% VOD viewers. I didn't really think, yeah. Watch time is also something that you guys may not aren't able to see, but that's something that I'm constantly not constantly, but something that's just in the back of my head. I want to make a show where people like watching it. So, but my watch time, I bring that up because my watch time has been absolutely huge recently. So I really appreciate it, guys.
Of Corrections there saying and fact-checking 68 false claims that they say that the Department of Homeland Security is putting out there about them not cooperating with detaining people that they have found here in the United States who are here illegally that they have arrested. Amna.
All right, that's our Liz Landers reporting live from the White House tonight. Liz, thank you.
The Minneapolis shooting is also having direct consequences on Capitol Hill. Democratic leaders say they're ready.
Good to see you. I don't know if you watched yesterday's stream, but we had a pretty good stream. Hey, what's up, Benza Scarlet? Good to see you as well. Ever played Cruelty Squad? I've been thinking about it. I know I've seen a lot of reviews on it. I actually just bought a game called Quasimorph that I've been gaming in my off time, and it's really fun. But Cruelty Squad does look really good. I like these types of graphics in games. I honestly think if a game looks too pretty, it comes to the detriment sometimes, in my opinion. I wonder if you should change the bait every now and then to something like ISIS hurting America, but who knows, the Trump might be perfect. Been here a few times. I remember the name. Yeah, Juiced Boy and Benzo Scarlet have both been watching the stream. It's pretty good. I haven't seen it yesterday. Oh, you're totally fine. Don't worry about it. We just we had a debate with some MAGA people live instead of just raging at my comments. Raging at my chat. We actually had some people come into the chat. Or come into the Discord and debate me. It was a good time. And then we had our dear friend Ice Beans and the amazing mod known as Bill come in and talk a little bit. So it's a good episode. The bad ones I don't typically remember. Amen. Amen. Well, I won't lie. The one MAGA I remember is the dude who was complaining about Satan worshippers in his town. That one's kind of locked and loaded in the mind.
Ready to block funding for the Department of Homeland Security and potentially other agencies. Our congressional correspondent Lisa Desjardins joins us now. Lisa, it's good to see you. So what are you hearing from members of Congress?
Oh, Lisa. Watch out, ladies and gentlemen.
And is it in any way different from how they've responded to in the past?
Let's start with Republicans. Notably, it was different in that very few of them actually responded initially, despite Stephen Miller and others at the White House signaling aggressive messaging. Instead, we have something almost from another time. Neutrality from some, and even some concern from other Republicans, like this from Texas Republican Mike.
Yeah, you know what? I say it all the time. I don't hate Republicans. I'm proud of them for standing up and saying this is bullshit. I think they should have done it a lot fucking sooner. I think after Renee Good, they should have stood up, but, you know, better late than never.
call. He wrote, I am troubled by the events that have unfolded. I believe a thorough investigation is necessary, both to get to the bottom of these incidents, but also, he wrote, to maintain Americans' confidence in our justice system.
Damn.
Now,
that's a damnation coming from these guys. I mean, he's just laying it out. If you continue to use ICE like this and Border Patrol, Americans aren't going to trust the legal system, which is a much bigger issue than immigration, in my opinion. If we don't trust our legal system, then that's definitely going to lead to massive issues down the line. I also think since we're getting a lot of VOD views, maybe you should change the title of the stream at the end of the stream to the topic of conversation. I like that idea. I think I'll do that. I like that a lot, actually.
There are many Republicans who also criticize Democrats and say they're to blame for this kind of insightful atmosphere and tension. Of course, Democrats deny that. But one example is important to me. House Oversight Chairman James Comer, he did say Democrats are to blame, but he also is not saying I should double down. He's saying instead, maybe I should pull back. Here's what he said on Fox Sunday.
This situation is only going to get worse, and I really think that there are so many cities in the United States that have issues with criminal illegals that I think they would be better received in other cities. And I hope that's something they're talking about doing right now.
Okay, James, fuck it. I'm done, you know? Yeah, that's another thing, is that, like, Minneapolis has such a low amount of immigration. Dude, there's no way this is fake. I'm sorry. This, I live in a simulation, and the dude just saw the giant red bubble above my head get mad at my phone, and now they're sending constantly. Now they're just constantly sending phone calls. What are they doing? What are doing the National Guard? Are they helping the community? So are you talking about Trump's deployment of the National Guard? Because if that's the case, then I think that's already been ruled illegal. There's no way. There's no fucking way. Sorry, I don't believe that. But I think he's already been ordered to withdraw a lot of his cities, National Guard troops in the cities. And the issue, like, typically National Guard will be sent to protest when they're afraid, when the cops can't handle it, right? When they don't quite have the necessary resources. The issue with what Trump was doing was he was taking other states' National Guards and putting them in states that had opposing views. That is highly, I mean, you can just see how that would lead to issues. So, but I think that's already been ruled that he can't do that anymore.
Now, because, you know, Minneapolis isn't the only city.
That reads to me as looking for a way out. Most notably, there are Republicans who are calling for hearings now. One, look at this letter from Senator Rand Paul of Kentucky, chair of the Senate Homeland Security Committee.
I won't lie, Rand Paul has been, I disagree with him on a lot, but he's been pretty staunch anti-Trump for a lot of the time.
Saying he wants a hearing in the next 2 weeks or so. As for Democrats, I've spoken to so many, they are as incensed and also focused as I've seen them, especially on ICE. They do not want any ICE funding to go through without changes. And indeed, that funding is up for a vote potentially this week. Here's what Chuck Schumer, the Democratic leader, wrote on Twitter. He said that Democrats will not provide the votes needed for that. What's that mean?
Let's
well,
go,
that funding's attached
Chuck.
to a bunch of...
Let's freaking go. That's my boy Chucky right there. Everybody counts Chuck out, but I'm telling you, you cannot count this madman out. He is an absolute... I'm only doing this because I watched Live and Learn last night, and I don't know if you guys watched the debate between Hutch and Pisco and that, but it was pretty fiery. Rand Paul is kind of a poser. Republican-wise, or just, I think he's just a libertarian, you know? He's one of those people. The think is I got my news from German. Oh, the thing is I got my news from German political influencers. There's no way. There is no way in hell. How many calls is that, guys? That's got to be the 10th. I got to talk to my service
From
provider.
other agencies too, so we could be in for a shutdown.
And the shutdown would affect far more than DHS.
Yeah, let's take a look here. These are the agencies that are part of this funding package. These are some of the biggest agencies in government: defense, HHS, transportation, housing, and all about 70% of the funding that Congress controls. Democrats want to pull out the HHS part of it and deal with that separately. But my reporting is Republicans so far are denying that. They say Trump can have executive actions to curb ICE. Well, you won't be surprised to hear that Democrats don't trust that. They want a legislative fix here, and we really are heading toward a potential shutdown.
And separately, Lisa, amid all of this, there was a Democratic member of Congress who was assaulted this past weekend, and the assailant shouted racist remarks. Tell us.
We're talking about Florida Congressman Maxwell Frost. He was at an event in Utah on Friday, and he announced he was punched in the face, and that the assailant, he said Trump will deport you. Someone has been arrested in this case.
Lisa Desjardins, our thanks to you as always.
Well, for another perspective now, we're joined by Democratic Senator Tina Smith of Minnesota. Senator, welcome back to the NewsHour. Thanks for joining us. And let's just begin with your reaction to the latest news. This report that Governor Walz, President Trump had a good, productive call, in their own words, that Greg Bovino, some agents are going to be leaving Minnesota imminently, and that Tom Homan is on his way in. What, if anything, do you think that changes on the ground?
Well, it's so interesting. Clearly, there is an attempt by the White House and the president and the people around him to de-escalate the situation. It's a dramatic turn.
I never thought I'd reach this point. Jesus, I thought they, and this is good. This is good. I'll give credit where credit is due. Should have been doing this a long time ago, but de-escalation is what we need right now, dude. A lot of Americans feel like we're on a knife's edge right now, and I don't like people feeling like that. It leads to more issues down the line. Like, how many people do you think this ICE shooting has radicalized? It's just heartbreaking, dude. Anyways.
Of events from just this weekend, when the Attorney General sent a letter to the governor saying that the only way to end this attack on Minnesota was if the governor were to, among other things, turn over our voter rolls. So I think what has changed is the tragic killing of Alex Preddy and the pressure that the White House is feeling from Americans, and certainly from their allies in the Republican Party, who were saying this just cannot stand. It's interesting because earlier today I was out in the neighborhoods talking to people.
And seeing the Republican reaction to this has restored my faith a little bit. Just a little bit. It's restored my faith just a little bit that maybe we can reach a point where it's not nearly as heightened as it is right now. Maybe.
People, and it's still very, very tense. I had to hold up visiting one mutual aid spot because an ICE raid was happening right there. And so there is still complete fear and anxiety on the streets tonight as ICE agents, roving bands continue to terrify people in my community.
And we know as a result of all this, you and other Democrats, as Lisa was reporting, are saying you'll oppose a funding package for DHS. So give us your latest take. Is this fight worth a partial government shutdown to you?
I think we are very, very firm as Democrats in the Senate that we cannot just stand by while this federal police force in Minnesota and places elsewhere in the country, but particularly in Minnesota, where they are shooting and killing United States citizens, people who are peacefully demonstrating and exercising their constitutional rights. So we are quite firm about this. And the only sensible thing to do is for the leader, the Republican leader, to understand that he needs to break apart the 5 bills that I think many Democrats would support and allow us to deal with the challenges at Homeland Security and put some meaningful restraint
this is why one of the biggest
this lawless
issues
behavior of
is
this agency.
how
That's the path
fucking-
forward.
oh,
And
geez.
I have to say, I've had some
gotta run.
conversations with
We're
some of
not
my
running this.
Republican colleagues over the
No,
last
stop.
day or so.
Stop.
I can't say that they're all on board, but I have heard a lot of concern from them about what's happening here, and that gives me some hope that we can find a good path forward.
So could you get a little more specific for us? What does a meaningful restraint look like here? I mean, the question is, what's the ask? Because the last time Democrats pushed for those enhanced healthcare subsidies, and that led to the longest government shutdown in history, you still didn't get the subsidies, right? So what leads you to believe that you'll get what you want if you push for another shutdown now?
Like when Rand Paul was
Let's start from
on
the
Rogan a few
idea
days
that
ago, he was complaining
these
about how
these
Democrats
federal agents
being at fault of sanctuary cities, like what you're supposed to be a libertarian, yeah. Political influencers I can't recommend. Hey Wolfie and Durdara. I've heard of Hey Wolfie before, I think so, but I have not heard of Durdara.
who are part of ICE and Customs and Border Control should not be allowed to just randomly detain and arrest U.S. citizens. Let's start from the fact that they should not be allowed to barge into, break down the doors of people's homes.
I'm always trying to collaborate, by the way. I think that's kind of where I shine. If I can put something together and it be really nice with a bunch of people, I'm pretty decent at that. So I would love to collaborate with more of my fellow content creators, and also I want to unite a lot of the liberal and leftist content and more moderate content creators. Right now, I may catch some flack for this, but I just don't think we need to focus on the Hassans of the world when we have someone like DJT. You know what I mean? But I'm okay with it. Like, I would be totally cool with having Hutch in the party, you know what I mean? Hutch is sick. I love Hutch. But he is one of those people that will go after lefties a little bit. And I'm okay with that. That's just not going to be, like, my focus, you know? If you guys watched the Live and Learn debate from last night, I think I'm pretty much in the IRI category. I really do think me and IRI must be spirit bonded or something, because I swear he is just constantly doing the based takes. Durdara has a Discord server you can join. Hey, bet. I'll look into that after. I'll look her up after the stream. Sounds like a good deal. All right. Let's continue on.
And cart them off with no warrant. These are just fundamental common sense kinds of protections, the same kinds of rules that local law enforcement have to follow in every single city in this country. So it's hard for me to believe that at the end of the day, Republicans in the Senate would shut down the government because they would refuse to put those kinds of common sense guardrails on this agency that has clearly run amok in Minnesota and in other places around the country.
And in your conversations with your Republican colleagues, are they saying they'd be willing to support those kinds of measures? You mentioned sort of a shift you've seen after the deaths of Alex Preddy. Is that something they'd support?
Well, I mean, I can't predict what they will do, and certainly, as far be it from me. But I will tell you that there's sort of this coalition of the horrified that has developed around what's been happening here in Minnesota, and it includes law enforcement.
When we can speak with you at your Discord server, I mean, you can come in anytime. Typically, I want more Trump supporters. I typically in like a debate style want to have Collins that way, but yeah, you can join anytime. I'm in my Discord if you want to come in and say what's up. No pressure though.
Enforcement who see doing is so deeply damaging to their own credibility in their communities. It is people who care about Second Amendment rights. The outrage that I've heard from Minnesota gun owners who've said, wait a minute, this man was lawfully carrying a firearm as a Second Amendment right, and you're saying that he could be killed for that? The level of rejection of this behavior of ICE is growing, not diminishing. And I think Republicans in Congress are hearing that as well, and that is leading them to look for a way forward that can put an end to this.
That is Democratic Senator Tina Smith of Minnesota joining us tonight. Senator Smith, thank you for your time. Really appreciate it.
Yeah,
thank you.
I unfortunately think MAGA is or not MAGA, but I do think Republicans see that shooting, and it's such a
We begin the day's
shot.
other headlines with the massive winter storm that blanketed much of the country with snow, sleet, and ice. At least 28 deaths were reported, including from hypothermia and sledding accidents. Millions of Americans now face bitter temperatures for days and widespread power outages in some states that may last well into the week. John Yang has our report.
Let's go. I fucking love John.
From Tennessee to Texas to New Jersey, about half the United States population today shoveling, scraping, and slogging their way through heavy snow.
It's fun to see this amount of snow. It like almost apocalyptic in a nice way.
We don't need to know about this snow, but we'll watch the news wrap and then we'll go on to
also
Brian
today,
Tyler
airport
Cohen's video.
officials in Maine say at least 6 people are presumed dead after a private business jet crashed during the weekend's snowstorm. Officials say the Bombardier Challenger 600 crashed during takeoff at Bangor International Airport last night and caught fire. No details about the victims have been released. The airport, located about 200 miles north of Boston, was closed shortly after the crash. Snow had started falling at the time of the crash, but other planes were taking off safely. Turning now to the Middle East, Israeli officials say they've recovered the last hostage remains in Gaza, a major step toward.
I mean, it seems as though that things might finally start to cool down there. Maybe, I don't know. I haven't been too into the IP discourse recently, but I mean, this is a good sign, right? Now it's up to Israel to return the favor, you know? Anyways.
Towards the next phase of Israel's ceasefire with Hamas. Israeli soldiers sang the country's national anthem as they stood around the body of 24-year-old police officer Ron Gavili. He was killed during the October 7th Hamas-led attack, and his body was among the first to be taken into Gaza. Speaking to lawmakers, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu called it an incredible achievement.
I thank the entire people of Israel for their prayers and encouragement. We completed this mission, as I promised, and we will also complete the other tasks we have set.
With all of the hostages returned, the next phase is expected to include the reopening of Gaza's border with Egypt. That would allow Palestinians to move freely in and out of Gaza and ease the flow of aid into the territory. That second phase also involves more complicated issues like disarming Hamas, something the group has refused to do. China's top military ranks are in turmoil after news that its most senior general is being investigated for.
How does China keep getting this? Dude, China has an endemic corruption problem. I'm sorry. How do their top... This is like the 5th time this has happened, where a top general is investigated for corruption. I mean, Jesus, dude.
for what's being called suspected serious violations of discipline and law. General Zhang Youxia was second only to President Xi Jinping in the chain of military command. His removal is the latest in a near total purge of China's powerful Central Military Commission, with only one of its 6 members still in place. Global security experts warn that the full impact of the changes are unknown, but they could have major implications for the region and especially Beijing's approach to Taiwan. A number of congressional Democrats are heading to a detention center in Dilley, Texas.
Independent oversight is a bad thing.
This week. They're planning to meet with the 5-year-old Ecuadorian boy and his father who were taken by ICE agents in Minnesota last week. The detention of preschooler Liam Conejo Ramos has become a focal point.
Father, by the way, they were saying he was a rapist, a PDF file. Just some absolute smears coming from the right.
Of the Trump administration's immigration crackdown. The visit comes after the Associated Press captured aerial images of detainees protesting at the South Texas Family Residential Center this past weekend. They held signs saying "Liberty for the Kids" in Spanish. Connecticut Senator Chris Murphy tried to visit the site last week, but said he was, quote, illegally blocked. The Treasury Department is canceling its contracts with Booz Allen Hamilton after a massive tax leak that revealed details about its wealthy clients, including President Trump. Former IRS contractor Charles Edward Littlejohn was sentenced to 5 years in prison in 2024 for leaking tax information to the New York Times and ProPublica. The Treasury Department said today the leak affected roughly 406,000 people. Secretary Scott Bessent says the firm failed to protect sensitive data. Booz Allen Hamilton has more than 30 contracts with the Treasury Department, totaling around $21 million. President Trump says he's raising tariffs on many goods from South Korea. In a social media post this afternoon, Mr. Trump said South Korea's legislature is not living up to its deal with the United States. As such, he's increasing South Korean tariffs on autos, lumber, pharma, and all other reciprocal tariffs from 15% to 25%. It's not clear when the hikes would take effect. The two sides agreed to a framework agreement last year, but South Korea's National Assembly has yet to approve the deal. Meantime, on Wall Street today, stocks posted decent gains to start the week. The Dow Jones Industrial Average added more than 300 points on the day. The Nasdaq rose about 100 points. The S&P 500 has now recovered from its losses.
The Dow Jones was, not just the Dow, all the markets were starting to fall. It honestly really spooked me. Excuse me. But it looks like they've drawn back on that. So, but yeah, dude, I was kind of shocked that the markets were doing so bad and nobody was saying anything about it. I was shocked. Like, isn't this the main reason you guys voted for this dude? Hold on, my headphone just shut off. Oh, so frustrating. Someday I will get headphones that aren't $10 at Quick Shop, but today is not that day. At least I can be honest.
Good. Last week. And one of the driving forces behind the eradication of smallpox, Dr. William Fege, has died. As a young medical missionary in Nigeria, Fege developed what's called a ring containment strategy that helped health officials combat the disease. He later went on to lead the CDC in the 1970s and 80s, where he helped guide the nation's early response to the AIDS epidemic. Standing 6'7", Fege was a towering figure in his field in more ways than one, receiving the Medal of Freedom in 2012, the nation's highest civilian honor. William Fege died over the weekend at his home in Atlanta. He was 89 years old.
And just think about the gas is only $1. That's not true. Mr. Mayhem. Oh shit. You're right. I forgot, dude. Fuck, you're right. Gas is only $1. God damn it. You got me again, Mr. Mayhem. Good to see you, by the way, man.
To come on the NewsHour, Tamara Keith and Amy Walter break down the latest political headlines. And the NewsHour's Settle In podcast provides advice for keeping a sense of purpose during an onslaught of news.
All right, I think that about wraps it up for the NewsHour today. Boom, owned you again. God damn it, I know. And thankfully, he doesn't have to see what the CDC will become under Junior. Yeah. I was actually going to bring that up, that it's just, you know, what was he thinking in his last days? This man literally designed containment strategies for diseases, and now he's seeing the top health official in the U.S. say vaccines cause autism. So it's probably not great.
Like Gestapo,
not a great feeling.
or using the term kidnapping.
Anyways, we got a video by Brian Tyler Cohen. I'm assuming this is talking about the demotion this man just got. Let's see.
That is a choice that is made. There are actions and consequences that come from those choices.
Okay, you got to shave that off, man. Doesn't he would look better bald, right? Like with this little tuft up here, it kind of makes him look gross. But if he just shaved that off, he'd look like, I don't know, fucking an older Johnny Sins, maybe.
And then when someone chooses to listen to a politician, a so-called journalist, a community leader that spouted that type of vilification towards law enforcement or anything else, when you choose to listen to that, that is a
ICE equals freedom. I do not see how you see that at all. That is very strange. How does ICE okay, explain to me how ICE equals freedom, Camo. Please explain to me, because from all the optics and metrics I use, they are very much anti-freedom. They do not like the idea of freedom. Can't wait till they come to the ones screaming, "Don't tread on me." Oh, trust me, I know.
choice, and there are consequences and actions there also. I think we saw that yesterday.
You're watching The Legal Breakdown, Glenn. That was Greg Bovino, who is in charge of Customs and Border Patrol, basically offering up this idea that if you call federal agents kidnappers or Gestapo, that there will be consequences. So,
oh yeah, Nazi youth. Let's see. Let's see. Oh, it's the undercut. The undercut. Interesting. Oh, yeah, they are. I see what you mean. Why is that? Is that an option? Why are people that's weird. They're advertising that. If no ICE posse cop pure. Oh, it's from Siberia. You wouldn't know communism and it smacked you in the behind. Oh, we actually have had some people from Serbia here, and we're very anti.
Is there any legality to what he's saying here?
No, because first of all,
fascism and communism. I hate fascism a lot more than communism, I'll be honest, but Tree Ogie says Trump #1. Russia had no ICE and got turned communism. Very true. Guys, think about this.
well, they're acting like Gestapo and they are kidnapping.
Mr. Mayhem, you really are the best at it. There have been many that tried, but you are unmatched in your craft, my friend.
People. Let me say it again. We've seen them kidnap people, including American citizens who they put in a jail cell for a day or two. Then they open the cell door, let them walk out, and they're not charged with anything.
America first.
Why? Because there was no base.
Oh, geez, why are my headphones just dying in rapid succession, ladies and gentlemen? Did somebody come into my house and let a EMP go off? Did somebody do that? Mr. Mayhem, was it you? I know somebody, because all my headphones are not working, which is always good. Why is it turning off? I don't get this. Well, these are the only headphones I have right now, so you're gonna have to work, my friend. There we go. Connect to BBBBBBBBT. Thank you. And the problems, yeah, it's damn Starlink, let me tell you. Soros did it. There we go.
The first place, when you take somebody into,
he said, your streams have been doing too good,
custody, when you detain them with absolutely no lawful basis or authority, you know what we prosecutors call that? Kidnapping, right? Sometimes we call it false imprisonment. So it's insane that a guy like Bovino is doing what he is doing. He and his ICE officers out in the street. We see it with our own eyes. It's being documented by citizens on their cell phones. It looks like they are acting like the Gestapo. It looks like they are kidnapping people.
Okay,
and indeed,
but have you thought about how that hurts the ICE officers' feelings? I love Mr. Mayhem's a good one, dude. I celebrate when he's in my chat.
based on the reporting, they actually are. But he says, don't you dare use those words to criticize us. You know, it's beyond a First Amendment free speech violation. It is a fantasy land that he's living in. And I mean, the only good news, Brian, is the courts continue to hold strong, and there's no court in the country, I don't care who appointed the federal judge, who would say that that's right. If Bovino says the citizenry can't use certain words to describe them, we're just going to go ahead and let Donald Trump's DOJ charge those people with federal crimes for using those words. That is
Yeah, no way in hell would I allow that. Honestly, I got close to going out on this, just like, honestly, simultaneously when I saw the Alex stuff. Just sickening. Mayhem's a tiny broken cog. No way. Oh, hold on. I am getting a phone call. One moment, guys. This is a real
ridiculous.
Just a quick note for those who are watching right now, if you'd like to follow along with this news and all other legal news, the best way to do that is to subscribe to both of our channels. I'm going to put those links in the post description of this video. Glenn, what are the legal implications of a government official speaking on behalf of the U.S. government, basically this idea that he is criminalizing speech, that if you deign to acknowledge objective reality, that ICE is kidnapping people, that ICE is using Gestapo tactics, that there will be consequences for doing so. And you know, he even says in that clip that if you listen to this kind of stuff, there will be consequences for that as well. So are there any legal implications of basically the criminalization of free speech?
You know, unfortunately, particularly when we have a Department of Justice and its leadership that is not at all loyal to the rule of law or the Constitution, it's very hard to envision consequences presently while, you know, Trump and Bondi and Noem and company are still in power and running roughshod over the rights of the American people. He could be fired from his job, but Kristi Noem is not going to fire him. Congress could act to defund you know, his position, to defund ICE agents, to, you know, defund certain components of DHS, all of which I hope they will do. And I would urge all of our viewers to call their elected officials in Washington and urge them to stop funding lawlessness, unconstitutionality, and murder. Stop funding it, because you're harming the American people. You're hurting your own constituents. And of course, Brian, once these people fall from power, and they will, whether Donald Trump makes it his entire term or not, they will fall from power at some point. That's when criminal investigations will need to commence, because this old RICO prosecutor looks at Donald Trump's executive branch.
That the Trump admin is exactly what the 2016 crowd that voted for him hated. Amen. That is important too. Like I like to bring up occasionally in debates about how Donald Trump has made a new deep government, you know? He's made a new deep state, and it's him and his cronies. It's not fucking the Democrats. Are you joking? It's you guys. Christy Nome says all criticism of her are women hatred. Bondi says hate speech is not free speech. Todd Blanche said you are gaslighting me, and now they hate guns. Yeah.
And I see a criminal enterprise, and I don't use that term flippantly. I mean, I see an organization that is being run as, you know, a criminal outfit headed up by Donald Trump, who is essentially the mob boss. He's got his consigliere and Pam Bondi over at the Department of Justice. He's got his underbosses. He's got his capos, right? He's got a lot of wise guys in his organization. And so, you know, if we've learned nothing from the timidity and inaction of the Merrick Garland Department of Justice previously, which has brought us to exactly where we are today, you know, we have to learn the lesson that, you know, runaway criminality by an executive branch of the federal government needs to be met with the rule of law. So, yes, down the road, there may very well be consequences for Bovino and his ilk. It's just they're feeling themselves right now because they've got people like Nome and Bondi and Trump who have their back.
Glenn, I want to throw another clip of Bovino up onto the screen.
All agents that were involved in that scene are working, not in Minneapolis, but in other locations. That's for their safety. There's this thing called doxing, and the safety of our employees is very important to us. So we're going to keep those employees safe. As far as the number of shots, the number of agents involved,
Hey, excuse me. American taxpayers, you are paying for this man to work at his job right now. Not this man. But the men that killed Alex Preddy, we are currently paying for them to stay on their job. That's bullshit, dude. That's fucking bullshit. But because of that, I'm not gonna, you know, I'm gonna paint something here, guys. Because I think that's a waste of taxes. I'm not gonna come out here and say all taxes are bad. That's important. I think taxes are very beneficial. I don't know why we don't pay more.
again, is going to come out in the investigation. I'm not going to speculate on who did what, when they did it, how they did it, or what exactly occurred there. I'm going to wait for the investigation to let me know what happened. Because before those facts come out, we need to ensure that we're talking truthfully and accurately. And before I speculate, I'm going to talk truthfully and accurately.
So right there, Bovino was asked about the identity of the ICE agent who shot Alex Preddy. We obviously know the identity.
It's a CBP agent. My bad. There is a distinction, and they're even less equipped. Border Patrol is probably even less equipped than ICE to deal with this. Because Border Patrol is Border Patrol. Last time I checked, the border was not... you know what? Maybe we're looking at this all wrong, guys. Maybe they're not... Maybe they were protecting the border in Canada. Anyways, it's just unbelievable.
Of the ICE agent, Jonathan Ross, who shot Renee Good. Now we're not getting any of that information. And so in very much the same way that DHS shut down the BCA, which is the state investigators who wanted to look into what happened with the killing of Alex Preddy, and now that's not happening. The DHS has also learned from their mistakes, quote unquote, from the first time, which is that when the identity of the ICE agent is revealed, that people will learn that person's name and want to rightfully hold them to account for what they've done, which is to commit murder. And so can I have your reaction to this idea that far from any account...
Okay. Renee Good? Here's what I would give if I was the judge. Renee Good, that cop gets a manslaughter charge. I think he wanted to be in that situation, but it's a little more clear. It's a little, or not clear, it's a little more opaque onto who is in the right in that. Obviously, Renee Good should not have been shot. At most, she should have got a ticket. But with this case, it's so clear. These people are guilty. Everyone that took that shot that day is guilty. Sorry. You knew he wasn't a threat the moment you saw him laying down. Keep playing libs? What does that even mean, Dirty Money? I think that's what we call cope.
Accountability, they're not even...
It's like, basically what you're doing is the 2 weeks. It's like 2 weeks, just wait 2 weeks and you'll see. We're serious.
And sharing any of the information about who this rogue ICE agent is.
Anonymity breeds abuse, right?
One moment, guys. I got a message from my amazing mod. One moment. Oh, ACLU. Okay, I bet. Let me open that up for you guys real quick. Your Rights Border Zone. On January 19th, 2 Border Patrol agents boarded a Greyhound bus at a Fort Lauderdale station and proceeded to question passengers row by row. The bus, traveling from Orlando to Miami, had not crossed any international borders. Despite this domestic route, the agents interrogated passengers, ultimately detaining a Jamaican national who Border Patrol claims had overstayed her tourist visa. This story is not an isolated occurrence, and the practice is hardly new. However, a recent uptick in the type of immigration operations from New York to Florida has caused fear among travelers and immigrant communities. It has also raised important questions about the scope of the immigration officials' authorities and the rights one has in these encounters. Are immigration officials allowed to stop people in places wholly inside the U.S.? The U.S. Customs and Border Protection, the federal agency tasked with patrolling the U.S. border and areas that function like a border, claims a territorial reach must be larger than you might imagine. A federal law says that without a warrant, CBP can board vehicles and vessels? Holy shit. That is fucking insane. They don't need a warrant to search a vehicle? That's fucked. I'm sorry, that is fucking insane. Nearly 2 out of 3 people live within the 100-mile border zone. It's fucking insane, dude. That's way too much power. And here's the thing, why this isn't, they're not even doing this because we've been having, no, we don't have Border Patrol, never mind. No, but we do have ICE in my state, and I don't see a reason for them to be here. Kansas does not have a high murder rate. MAGA, and then Dirty Money is just soying out in chat, which we love him for.
right? But, with transparency and with an investigation into what happened, that's the only way you can address lawlessness by a runaway.
That's a good point too. All areas are 70% of Americans live in the Border Patrol areas. All areas are 1,000 miles of any border or coast, or 100 miles, I think you meant, is a border area, which still doesn't include Minneapolis, completely out of bounds for CBP. How can I wick to join in your server? What do you mean? I think you're in it, Juiced Boy. I think you're in it already, brother.
A rogue component of DHS, ICE. ICE has distinguished itself as lawless. We've seen reports in Minnesota over and over again where they're unlawfully detaining police officers, Minnesota police officers who are off duty, but they happen to be minorities. So they're being unlawfully detained. In fact, at
Wick React? I mean, if I think here soon we're gonna have to we're gonna be heading out just because, again, I have work today, but so I'll probably not be taking any call-ins for the rest of the day, but so I hope I'm not like being rude or anything. I gotta get out of here. But with that being said, this tomorrow I'll be streaming from, I believe, 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. So you can just join in, and if you ever just want to join, you can go to the waiting room area right there, and I'll just drag you into the void. Yesterday was a long ass stream. It's cool. Yeah, I actually really enjoyed yesterday's stream. Tomorrow I'll be, like I said, I'll be streaming pretty late just because my work schedule is fucked. But anyways, we'll continue on. But yeah, Juice Boy, anytime I'm streaming, you can just join the waiting room and we can talk about something if you want. Typically I try to do debates with MAGA voters. That's what I'm hoping for. But we can lib out a little bit, you know what I'm saying?
At least one indicated that she was assaulted when she had her cell phone snatched out of her hand when she simply tried to record the encounter. With anonymity comes abuse of power, and that's what we've seen. I do not subscribe to doxing. Nobody should dox people who are government agents or officials. Don't endanger them and their families and go to their homes. But we do need these people to be fully, fairly, and thoroughly.
I think this is so like sad. People, it's impossible you have a job because I'm a communist. That is true. So please do not tell Comrade Blavatsky. Please don't tell them, and I'll give you an extra ration or two. We can speak together, but my English is not the best. That's all right, man. Don't worry about it. If you just want to chill and watch, that's totally fine too, man. I really appreciate your comments, like your chats. So, you know what I mean? No pressure, man. Honestly, I'm still afraid to go on Loner Boxes live. You know what I mean? I'm still a little spooked to go in front of Loner Boxes live. Although I think I'm going to try to do that more when it comes to like US politic and stuff like that. Here soon too, I'm planning on doing a couple research streams and shit like that. Just to familiarize myself with MAGA's talking points and be able to have the statistics to prove them wrong, you know what I mean? Thank you for the calmness. Your calmness. You're a really cool dude. Hey, thanks. I appreciate that, man. I appreciate it. I try to be, you know, just chilling. Not too bombastic. Except when I'm memeing. When I'm memeing, I can become pretty animated. Anyways.
Thoroughly investigated, and they need to be held accountable for the crimes they've committed. I mean, I watched the videos of the Alex Preddy murder, right? They executed an unarmed man after they disarmed him, even though he was in law.
It seems Kristi Noem may have lied about the petty first aid. A doctor claims to have rushed to help him, but agents blocked them. If that's fucking true, that is fucking disgusting. God, they're so untrained, dude. What are you doing? But I mean, how do you fucking even survive? Fucking just getting riddled with fucking bullets. It's just... That will get... It just... Like, what is your thought process as the ICE officer? What are you thinking? To think this guy is an absolute threat. Like, I don't get it, dude. They did that with Renee too. Yeah. It's just, why, dude? Why? What is the point here? Like, what are you thinking, dude? Like, I try to bring, like, I try to put myself in the officer's shoes, right? Heat of the moment. I would never think this man is a fucking threat. Are you joking? You know what I mean? Like, he doesn't look like he's there to hurt people. He was trying to help someone. That's what's so, like, sorry. That's what fucking kills me, dude, because, you know, I think it's, anyways, I'm sorry. Hold on, I gotta, all right, we got the New York Times. Read a witness statement on the Petty shooting. Whoa. Oh, God damn it. All right, I'm gonna subscribe to that, and what time is it? Here, hold on. Let me get an account on my main thing here. We can actually do that tomorrow. I'm gonna get an account for the NY Times. Just, I'm kind of surprised that it wasn't already. I think I have an account, but I guess I'll have to check it. But and we'll read that, because that seems like it would be interesting. I just click view images when the banner pops up. Oh yeah, you definitely have to have a subscription, but I should have a subscription to the New York Times. You know what I mean? I'm surprised I don't. Anyways, we do have a little bit more before I have to dash out of here like a subway surfer. Before the banner? I'm not able to get past it. They unfortunately, they got me. They got me, unfortunately, but that's all right. There's a couple newspapers I've been wanting to subscribe to so I can talk about just interesting stories. I'm going to reintroduce a section where I go over an article for the day, because the new podcast I'm having with me, Rootsy, shout out, we're going to be going over a lot of news and talking about a whole swath of things. So get excited for that. I'm honestly very, very excited. And that'll be next Monday, or this Monday. Next Monday. Well, the first year of NYT is temporarily only $10. Damn.
Americans want every illegal deported?
I sometimes.
Yeah, I really support journalism, and I think the subscription service is kind of a genius idea that they accidentally did. Never accidentally call Rootsy a lawyer. I know she's not a lawyer. She is a dope person, though. She is a very sweet and nice person. She actually is the one that introduced me to Ice Beans, believe it or not. So there's a little bit of TGDEU lore.
I like blunt questions because they sort of get at the underlying feelings that people have. So this is about as blunt of questions you can get. Deport all immigrants here illegally. I will note the ABC News poll asked about undocumented immigrants. So we have slightly different questions, but these were all taken from the last month. And there's real uniformity.
Okay, so what do you think Asmongold is going to extract out of this? Oh, jeez. You know what? Fuck Benny. He's just so lame nowadays. You know what I mean? Oh, by the way, go support Brian Tyler Cohen. We kind of have to move on here, but go support Brian Tyler Cohen. Now, I do want to reiterate one of my key ideological positions. All right, guys? You can never engage fascists like this or racist in good faith. Like, that's what they want. When you engage these people in good faith, it legitimizes all of their talking points. It just absolutely legitimizes all of their talking points. And what do I mean by that? I mean, not even like make fun of them, point out how stupid their idea is. You know, if you have them on, make an absolute fool out of them. Leave no room in anybody's mind that these people are serious actors, because their ideas aren't serious. Racism isn't serious. It's not an idea that is legitimate in the 21st century. Misogyny too. All the phobias. It's like, it's not, those aren't serious. I'm sorry, but they're not. So, especially figureheads. Now, I'm not talking about your average MAGA voter here, by the way. I want to make that very clear. I think your average, even a little more right-leaning MAGA, and I mean MAGA voter, I think they can even be talked off the ledge. But these people, no. They have a financial incentive, but it's not just a financial incentive. They have an echo chamber of people that constantly reinforce their ideas. I mean, put Asmongold in my chat for one day, and he'll be crying. He'll be crying by the end of it. I get some crazy shit in my chat, dude. But anyways, that's besides the point. You know, they're not serious people. They have hug boxes, and so I don't believe in like even really entertaining their nonsense. I really do just believe that making fun of these fucking losers is the best way to combat fascism, because not just fascism, any form of extremism. I'll bring up a point I brought up the other night ago. when I was in a conversation about this. What do you guys think had more of an impact on damaging Hasan's career? The Hasan shock collar or H3 Ethan Klein's video? Now, I love Ethan Klein. You guys know that. But we have to be objective here. In a word, between those two, it was the shock collar. And why is why was the shock collar such an effective strategy to implement? Because it was funny. The memes were funny. And not saying H3's video wasn't. It had a lot more information, and it was, I thought it was a great video, don't get me wrong. I think it was fucking amazing. But the dog collar obviously reached far more people, and now everybody will associate Hasan with shocking his dog. Anyways, that's my core ideology on combating these extremists. Obviously just normal people that just want to come in and talk and debate. I'm totally cool with them. But people like this, these blatant liars, and yeah, I have no, I think you should just meme on them. You should just make fun of them. And that works. I think the fact that Asmongold doesn't clean his room really does hurt him. And it does, because people know him as the Roach King. I think if you watch Asmongold right now, you're probably a little depressed. You know what I mean? Because I'm not watching anybody known as the Roach King and listening to him for advice.
That's what I really think the CDC really informed me. Deporting all immigrants who are here illegally. 55% of the New York Times.
So overwhelmingly, most people want to deport all the illegal aliens. Okay, well, there you go.
Overwhelmingly? Bro. I don't think that's overwhelmingly. I don't know about that, man. Overwhelmingly. Look at that. It's 5% over 50. Holy shit.
Exactly. So this is what I said before, right? The entire idea that this is an unpopular opinion is bullshit. It's a bullshit opinion.
We're not saying it's an unpopular idea. What we're saying is that you're doing it in a fucking stupid way and not giving the people that have been here a way out. It's more than a human can suffer,
4%. CBS News 57%. ABC News with a slightly different question 56%. Yeah. So what you're seeing essentially here is a very...
God, look at this guy's fucking hairline though, dude. Hey, brother, I was there with you, and you know what I did? I shaved it all off. What, why does he enjoy it? Does the grease give him comfort? Do you think it, gives him a memory of times gone by? I'm genuinely wondering. I could never in my life have my hair this fucking greasy. I'm sorry, it really does kind of gross me out. Dems are losers and can't spell either. That is very true. And Trump, I disagree, Steve. I think Trump is a poo-poo head. Sorry. I don't mean to use such strong words, but... Anyways, look at this guy. Actually? What's this fucking stupid-ass face he makes every time? Hold on.
Very clear indication that a majority of Americans...
Yeah, this isn't... Just had to make sure it wasn't like a tick or anything like that. What is... I'm a fucking genius. Dude, I have not made that face. Well, I think I'm making it right now, actually, now that I think about it. No. I just looked in the phone. That is not the face he is making. I do scrunch my eyebrows when I think, but look at this beta. He's like got his finger up to his lip, his spindly hands. I have a disagreement, says Asmongold.
In fact, when they're asked this one question,
64% is crazy.
I believe that the underlying feelings do, in fact, want to deport all immigrants who are here illegally. There's no arguing with these different numbers because they're all essentially the same across 4 different pollsters. Feelings towards immigration in this country.
This is what's crazy, is that deport all undocumented immigrants. And you remember...
Best president ever, Simon? I very much disagree. There are far better presidents. Can you even name, like, 5 presidents, even? I mean, I'll give it to you. If you can't name 5 presidents, it's probably a bit of an issue. And Trump may be up there, but I mean, even just given the basics, you got Abraham Lincoln, George Washington, Teddy Roosevelt, FDR, and Donald Trump. So I'll give you that. I'm sorry, but Trump is not beating any of those guys.
In 2016, like, Trump didn't even say that, and people were getting mad at him. But now, look at this. It has almost, well, not really almost, but it's gone up by like fucking 50% almost. This is a crazy increase.
Feelings towards undocumented immigrants and deporting all of them have become considerably more hawkish. And I think that gives Donald Trump much more leverage to go with the American people and sort of have these hawkish, some might say harsh, different rhetoric and also issue-based.
This is why they voted for him. This is what the people want. It is. Don't listen to some crying, hysterical Karen on social media. This is what people want.
Don't listen. People want just, yeah, see, this is why I say he's not a serious person. And the reason I tell you this is because I had a conversation with a MAGA supporter the other day, and we obviously disagreed on a lot of stuff, but I at least got him to admit that at the end of the day, you know, these immigrants are valuable. We disagreed on how we should deal with them. I advocate for having them come out of the shadows, go to a federal building, fill out some paperwork. If somebody can even advocate for them for being here for a while, boom, you're a citizen. You pay a little bit extra in taxes for the next 10 years, and then it's over. I feel like if I had like 50 minutes, I could name every single US president. Yeah. Shout out to the US presidents, you know, man. Shout out. Fuck you. God damn it, Mr. Mayhem. How did you do it? I don't know how he keeps going, man. It's like I get up for one punch, bam.
It's sort of going after immigrants who are here illegally.
They need to come here legally like others do. Well, the issue is it's very hard to become an American citizen. And so why not just have these people come out of the shadows? Why? If they've been here for 10 years, Simon, I don't think they should just be kicked out. I don't even think they should be kicked out if they've been here for 5 years. But they just shouldn't be kicked out. And especially if they're born here, dude. If they're born here, they're an American citizen. Know what, know how. Not really? Oh, really, Simon? What are the ways you can become an American citizen? Why don't you tell me that?
Immigration levels decrease. This includes legal and illegal immigration. Look at this. Last year, 55%. That's the highest level.
What are the ways you can become an American citizen? Ah, you're stunlocking me, dude.
Since the 9/11,
I can see why it was low after 9/11. I can give some.
If you go back to 20.
And it's, again, legal and illegal. People want less people coming into the country.
Exactly. Duh, of course, right? Whenever you're importing a bunch of people and they're driving down wages, absolutely you'd want less of them.
Exactly. They want less people.
36% to 56% is a 55% increase? Oh my God. So people, okay, actually, you know what? We're not even going to talk about math.
Coming into the country. Look at that. That's a 14-point rise from 2023. You go back to 2016 when Donald Trump again was running for president the first time. It's 38%. That's a 17-point rise. So the bottom line is
a 17-point rise in 1 year is fucking ridiculous. This is the reason why they can't stop. If they stop doing this, they are literally not enforcing the will of the people. This is what they want.
Hey, Simon, you notice how you didn't answer my question. What are the ways you can become an American citizen?
Immigration only helps the rich. You're right. The only people that benefit from mass immigration are business owners and politicians that are able to capitalize on the votes. Those are the only people that benefit from it.
Like,
the average American
listen to that, how stupid this is. Listen to how dumb that is. You can be born, or you can marry into it, or wait 30 years. Yeah. And in those 30 years, you know, you may get fucking your shit rocked. Paperwork? Bro, see, Simon, you actually have no idea the ways. Luckily, Bill helped you out here. But unfortunately, you have no idea how to become an American citizen. But you just acted like an authority and said, well, no, it's not really that hard. Tell me, is it easy to marry someone from the US? Do you want to marry someone for a green card? Shouldn't we be encouraging people to marry someone for love rather than a green card? That's what I think. But for some reason, you think that's all right. You think it's all right to continue this archaic system and not update our laws. Very sad, Simon.
Worker does not benefit from it. Middle class people don't benefit from it. Working class people certainly don't benefit from it. The only people that do are
yeah, he has no idea what he's talking about.
Upper middle class and upper class people that are able to exploit.
Like, this is just so dumb. You know what I mean? No one, like, it's just not a serious, he's not a serious person. I think the fucking cockroach is starting to infest his fucking earlobes. Because I'm sure he's watched, no, probably not. He's probably just watched the right-wing media grift. I asked him to turn his eyes away and
wait that labor. That's it.
Something different. A bright future where things don't look bad. Like, guys, okay, be honest. If Asmund shaved his fucking ugly ass rag of hair, he wouldn't look too bad. I'm a little afraid of what he's got going on there. If that's like if he's got the headphone head and there's like a bump right there, that might be a bit of an issue. Asmongold is for kids raised by iPads. Yeah, I agree. He's pretty fucking stupid. But this is what the youth is watching these days, man. That shit has almost 500,000 views. We gotta address the Yahtzees where they are, man. And trust me, I mean, I've dug into a couple of the quote-unquote intellectuals and shown why their ideas are very stupid. Again, sun god fallacies are something that the right wing just really leans on in terms of stuff like that.
People who are here legally deported and their overall feelings towards immigration have become considerably more hawkish.
63% say they're okay with deporting immigrants who are here legally and arrived in the last 4 years. 87% are good with deporting immigrants who are here legally and have
87%
criminal records.
87%. Literally, imagine going against something that has.
Yeah, bro, nobody fucking supports keeping dangerous criminals here. Look, 87%. Imagine. Yeah, nobody's saying it. Nobody's saying it. You fucking gopher. What the fuck is a communast? Proving my point, Mayhem. Oh, trust me, Mayhem. You got to be careful with Mayhem. He is quite there's a reason his name is Mr. Mayhem. I'm just gonna say that right now. This man, I mean, he's right. He's totally right. Updates to laws is page 2 of the Communist Manifesto, and that's a fact, bro. I actually remember reading in the little pocketbook that if you update any laws, you are not a proper communist.
Has 87% support. That's crazy, isn't it? Oh my God. And I don't know what this is. Why not legal? Well, the reason why is because, so like, for example, H-1B visas. So if you bring over a guy from India and then you're able to pay that guy from India the same wages that you're able to.
Bro, it's Indians now. Why are they going to Indians, bro? Indian and people from that region are so valuable to this country. You have no idea. Oh my God. These people live, you can tell they don't go outside because they live in a world where white people do everything. It's like, bro, we have an entire, like, an entire class that just doesn't want to do work like this and isn't as interested in, like, certain fields as, you can see why it's so stupid, right? Because, like, what is this guy even saying? At the end of the day, he's just like, yep, nobody should come here. I wish Asmon was for iPad babies. They could grow out. His fans are mostly in their 30s, yeah. It's sad.
The Pan-American, the guy from India actually has an advantage over you.
I think, you know, for the little amount of time I've had on, like, streaming and producing content, I have, you know, I feel like I've convinced some people that these ideas are stupid, and I think I'm doing a good fucking job. So, you know, it takes a million of me's to combat an Asmongold, but I'm seeing a lot of me's pop up, and I love to see that. Never listened to a single thing from Asmon. Yeah, he's a dumbass dude. Indians are so assimilated to America, they don't even know how to say their own names. I hear them talk and go, that Willy Wonka, that Willy Wonka. Yeah, assimilation, like I always say, it's a process. It's not just something that's going to happen overnight. And to be honest, like, I want to hear from these people that aren't quote unquote assimilated. I want to hear how their, you know, culture kind of works and stuff. And as a true liberal, take out the valuable parts, make them American, boom. Like, take out, like, hold on, I can see how that might have sounded. Everybody's a fucking American, dog. Everybody's an American at the end of the day.
For you. And let me explain the reason why. There is an extra level of job security, or security that the employer has that.
But I do think these people think America is like the lamest shit in the world and weak as fuck. I do think that. Is that him in the lower left corner? Yeah, that's the beast. There he is.
That Indian worker will maintain and stay at their job, and they will probably tolerate higher degrees of maybe mistreatment. They might tolerate higher degrees of overworking. And the reason why is because they don't want to lose their visa. So whenever you have something you can hold over their head and then use that as leverage to make them do things that you want, then yeah, absolutely, that plays a huge role. It does.
And so a dumbass would think what he's thinking, but somebody who has a iota of brain cells would say, oh, well, just why don't you let him become an American, you know? So they don't have that power to hold that green card over their head. And they would say, I honestly don't even know what they would say to that. They'd probably say something like, oh, well, that's not addressing it. You're just giving them a job for free. No, you're just letting them take American jobs. And it's like, where is the American workforce? Where the fuck is it? Where is that Trump army that they were posting about?
Threats of deportation if they lose their job, exactly. So that's the reason why. So even if you're competing on a completely even playing field, like systematically, that person has a more appealing, like who do you want to, like this is a good question, right? If you're an employer, who do you want to have?
Hold on. We've got a good question coming. Sent you a vocal DM explaining the pronunciation thing, but let me take a look at it. This is our amazing mod, Bill Clockwell, sending in and shouting out.
Like, for example, Ro Khanna, his name is supposed to be pronounced Rohit Khanna. It's supposed to be Khanna, but he says Khanna.
Oh, see, they're picking up the dialect even. That makes, okay, I didn't quite understand it, so thank you for clarifying a little, because I was a little confused. But that's a great point. I just think that this idea of assimilation and stuff, it's just so damaging because America, like, I think the reason I say these people hate America, and they think it's just this weak, pathetic bitch, is because I think that American values are stronger than anything the world has to offer right now. I do. And so these people, and I think it's more appealing. I think it is literally the dream, dude. So why would I be afraid of people, like, even if they're here to, like, quote unquote, what do these people say? Export their culture. I think the America, you know, I think the first time they have a fucking cheeseburger, they're going to reconsider. I do. So I think it's just completely a stupid point of assimilation. This assimilation is just so stupid. I go get my listen, okay, Democrat 10 point more on to help Trump. All right. Markoff. Or Macroth, damn it. I was hoping your name is Markarth, like in fucking Skyrim, dude. The Dwemer City.
Working with you, right? Do you want to have the person working for you? Do you want to have the person that can quit whenever they want and just go work somewhere else?
You are an idiot, says Daree. Well, I think you're a stinker. So what about that?
You want to have the person whose entire life is tied to your company. Well, you want to have the person whose entire life is tied to your company because that person is going to try to work harder and you can take advantage of them more easily and they don't really have a recourse for it as much. Armed protesters the second they see an ICE agent.
What does this say? Let's read what this says. Wow. Look at this, guys. Look at this. Hating the First Amendment. Or Second Amendment. These idiots are totally... What's wrong? Can I not be armed at a protest? Can I not have something to defend myself in case rioters start to break out and they start to try to harm me? Am I not allowed to have that ability? Fucking idiots. Don't even know what they're saying.
You shouldn't do that. They threw a frozen break. Wait, what is this here? What
The single most idiotic statement I've ever heard. Why is it idiotic? Lincoln Riley. Lincoln, do you think murder doesn't happen between Americans? I've got some bad news for you, man, but we have 62 deaths a day from just shootings. And that's without suicides. And unfortunately, that doesn't quite hold up. You know, if we had this massive wave of immigrants killing people, don't you think that would be all over the news? I don't see, like Lincoln Riley was. Buddy, wake up. Lincoln Riley happened like fucking a million years ago. We got something else to talk about now. God, clutch your pearls about fucking Lincoln Riley. God.
They got these animals going crazy?
They're everywhere. Shut the fucking doors. Shut the door.
Look at them.
Whoa.
It's a water bottle.
We're fucking press. We're press. You know what the First Amendment is? Yes or no? They threw
No, they don't.
a frozen ice brick at the car. Take off your vest again.
The shame show is retarded and cringe? Well, I think that it makes a lot of sense. These are people whose ideology and their entire worldview is derived from Marvel movies and popular media.
Bro, this is such a dumb take. I don't think everybody on the right is a groyper, for example. These guys are so sad at... They just generalize everything. But you think, DeRay, you haven't answered my question. Why don't... maybe I didn't even ask it. Why do you think American culture is so weak that people won't think it's the best idea? Do you think there's a better idea than America? Than American, liberty, freedom, and justice for all? Do you think there's a better idea out there?
So it would logically make sense that a movie scene that was very well seen, it was very popular and, well established in Game of Thrones would be the way that they see the world because they're looking at it through the lens of just basically TV shows. They think it's a TV show.
I've spent my entire adult life in law enforcement, and I have never heard of one law enforcement agency not helping another when they call for help.
It's ridiculous, you're right.
Until this weekend, when a chief of patrol for the Chicago Police Department instructed the police officers not to run in and help their colleagues who were calling for help, who were under attack by a bunch of people clearly violating the law.
Nobody
That's
died,
scary.
did they? Like what? Clearly under attack by the law? Who is this?
You let the mob decide, and people are going to get killed.
Let me give you the antithesis of that. We had a single man resist ICE agents and get away from them in our community. We sent a helicopter, a drone, K9, and 50 law enforcement officers to surround an area, and we found that guy.
Gotcha, bitch. You thought you had 6 stars?
Well, it sounds like you didn't need help. Sounds like you guys didn't need help at the end of the day. Sorry we made your big boys go get some fucking laps in the gym. Sounds like you didn't need help. You fuckers have helicopters, by the way?
Yeah. Holy fuck, man.
Who violently resisted ICE, and we locked him up in jail where he should have been.
Oh my God.
If you allow anarchists and criminals to run wild in your community, people will die.
I don't know, Luna, honestly. Good to see you, by the way.
Exactly. You can't let that happen. You aggro the Florida police. Not the most efficient way, waste of resources. It is the most efficient way because you're not thinking about the future things that they don't have to do because they've done such a dramatic show of force that people realize that it's not worth trying to escape. You're only thinking about it inside of the context of the individual action and not what that action represents as a larger, basically messaging tool to everybody else.
People will be shot. Now, let me say this. For other law enforcement leaders...
This is fucking obvious politics brain. Oh, I gotta think about everything I say. I gotta walk on eggshells. I hate this shit, dude. I gotta think about how it's gonna sound. Yeah, I don't know who the fuck this guy even is, to be honest. No idea.
Across this state and nation, you need to be standing up saying the same exact thing that I am.
Exactly.
Because when you have a breakdown of the rule of law, when you allow anarchists...
I don't even think this is ICE. I think this is just some fucking sheriff or some shit that's finger wagging saying, whoa, whoa, whoa now. You guys aren't doing the right thing. You know. I'd be interested to know who fucking Mr. Big Jaws is here. Look at those chompers. Are you seeing this, guys? Look at you can tell, you know, in Kenshi, when you can increase the size of a person's cheeks, this guy has max settings cheek. This guy has cheeks on max settings, dude. Whoa.
Clowns.
Criminals to take over the streets and attack law enforcement officers and then not send them help. That's a slippery slope. A real slippery slope.
Absolutely. I'm so glad to see this, bro. Like, I'm gonna be honest. Like, you know, I was born in Florida, you know?
It don't matter for me, bitch. You ain't running no fucking thing around here, ho. All these fucking illegal ass immigrants in this motherfucker, and I gotta stand outside for illegal. Fuck you, white bitch. I hate you, illegal immigrant motherfuckers, and I hope I get some bitches. Take you back to those shitholes. And I'm see you again, nigga. Shit, so hear me? I'll make sure you mind your fucking business.
Why is he laughing at that? That man just obviously had a fucking mental breakdown. Maybe that's, you know, maybe Asmon is displaying why people watch Asmon himself here. He's got a very similar uniform to the guy that was talking from Minneapolis yesterday. He's a high-ranking cop of some sort. Whatever the fuck he is, you know, stop backseat quarterbacking.
Justified crash out. I'm gonna say it.
Justified. This man, he's saying it is justified to just cry like a little bitch in the hotel. Me? What? Why is he even crashing out? What? It's that I don't even know. Is this? Hold on, I gotta see. Is this
justified crash out? You have this.
I gotta go back.
Absolutely. I'm so glad to see this, bro. Like, I'm gonna be honest. Like, you know, I was born in Florida, you know?
It don't matter for me, bitch. You ain't running no fucking thing around here, ho. All these fucking illegal ass immigrants in this motherfucker, and I gotta stand outside for illegal. Fuck you, white.
Oh, it sounds like they were getting somebody that spoke English. I don't think this is a justified crash out at all. Oh, he's the police chief in Florida? Oh, yeah, backseat quarterback, dude.
I hate you, illegal immigrant motherfuckers, and I hope I get some bitches. Take you back to those shitholes.
What a fucking weirdo, dude. He's even got the trench coat on. And by the way, what is this dude's fit? It is not fitting, you know what I'm saying? The fit is not fitting.
Justified crash out. I'm gonna say it.
And this, God, this is why he is such a fucking dangerous dude. What a weirdo. God, what a fucking freak. Justified. Yeah, guys, I'm just gonna say it right now. If you in front of the in front of people because they don't understand English, I think you're a bit of the problem. I think you're a problem, dude. And I think the only way to deal with you is to sit down and have a conversation. And say, listen, man, these guys are valuable. Like we did with that dude the other day. Because this is not healthy to be crashing out like this.
Justified crash out. You have this shit happen. You've been to a hospital. This is the way it is. It is. Like, he's right. And he is so right about this. I like to see this. Fucking finally, man.
Bro, this is not
exactly.
a hospital. Is this a hospital? Bro, this don't look like no hospital I've been to.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Are you experiencing long wait times in the emergency room? Well, look around. Are there people that aren't speaking English? Call Immigration and Customs Enforcement right now, and you can save up to 1 hour in the emergency room. 1-800-ICE.
Yeah, look at this. Like, this isn't, like I said, this isn't serious. He's saying he's such a little bitch baby that he wants to deport people. He wants to call and potentially get his fellow American citizens deported. Just because he doesn't like waiting in line. And, you know, this motherfucker has not went to a hospital in years. So he's not waiting in line for the hospital. He's just thinking of, like, waiting in line at the fucking McDonald's or some shit. What an absolute scumbag, dude. Ah. But I think Hitler would be disappointed in this guy. You know what I'm saying? I think even him. Yeah, deport anyone illegal. It's pretty simple. Why not have them come out of the shadows, Sleazy Mac, and let them gain citizenship so we don't have to go sweeping for people in the streets, so we don't have American citizens dying. Anyways, guys, I gotta get out of here. I've already stayed longer than I should have, but if you guys enjoyed the stream, please remember to like and subscribe. It really helps out the channel. I do a show every day, as you guys can tell. Oh, wow. Has my browser always been like that, guys? Sorry about that. I didn't realize my screen was like that. My bad, guys. Anyways, because they come from inbreeding? God, Sleazy Mac, you're just being racist. Okay. You're just being racist. Sleazy Mac, I literally have my Discord in the channel, but I understand you're probably more of a keyboard warrior. And keyboard warriors definitely do have this propensity to just insult people. I think it comes from them just not having a good dad. And I understand, Sleazy Mac, you probably don't have a good dad, and that's all right. You know, my dad died when I was young, so Sleazy Mac, I just implore you to go to a mental health professional instead of going into random people's chats and spurking out. Because I gotta be honest, you think way too much about sex. I think that's something you're gonna have to really deeply think about. Bro, you were literally yapping, insulting Asmon. Oh, are you an Asmongold fan? Do you like the fucking King of Roaches, buddy? And now they'll just start doing, since I insulted Sleazy Mac and he's crying like, what I believe they call a little bitch. Now he's going, his data drivers are overloading and he's not able to really respond. So he just has to do the next best thing, which is use the closest, anti-democrat slogan he has, and it looks like rules for thee and not for me was the one he had for the day. It's okay, Sleazy Mac. Wake me up, hit me up tomorrow, because I'll be streaming from 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. where I'll be talking about the news, politics, and all that. And I have call-ins at the beginning. Or through most of the time. It's just unfortunately where we have to do a bit of a shorter show today. But you are... See, why do you call it a man pleaser? Why do you call that a mouth? Like, could you imagine just calling someone's mouth a man pleaser? So embarrassing. Anyways, guys, I do have to get out of here. I have to go to work. Something that, unfortunately, Sleazy Mac is not well acquainted with. But I hope to see you tomorrow, Sleazy Mac. I hope to actually debate you instead of just typing on your keyboard like a child. That's okay. Usually I'm not this aggressive with them, but I have to get out, so... And this guy is definitely true to his name. I mean, the smell coming from this man, my friend, you're not even like, you're just typing on Discord, or typing, not even on Discord, you're just typing on fucking in a YouTube chat. Anyways, Mr. Mayhem, trust me, I already know he has to deal with that. Oh, don't worry, you didn't have to time him out. Oh, no, I don't think I banned you. Laughing my fucking ass off, he banned me. That's just an embarrassing message to actually send in someone's YouTube chat. I'm gonna be honest, man. It's just embarrassing. Alright. We do have to end this stream. You're right. I have to get to work. You're right. Alright. Anyways, guys, I will see you tomorrow. And hopefully we see Sleazy Mac today and he'll come in my Discord and stop being a keyboard warrior. We can hope, right, guys? Anyways, let's get out of here. I will see you soldiers tomorrow at 7 p.m. Until then, go check out IRI. He's a pretty fly guy. Move out, soldiers.